But I want to talk about Predictive Index, what it is, how it helps organizations lead their teams. But just can you just start us off, please, Brian? What, in simple terms, what is the Predictive Index?
Yeah, Dan, so fundamentally, Predictive Index is an assessment and a software at the basic level. And the assessment is designed to really decode the human, to decode what behavioral drives and needs that individual has so that you can understand how to interact with that person, understand what types of roles that person would be cut out for, and understand how to actually coach and develop and you know, engage them as a human being. There's a number of different avenues for Predictive Index in which it's used for both people and talent operations, Dan. And so one of the biggest is going to be hiring. And what we've found and what statistics have shown is that an unstructured interview is only 6% predictive of on-the-job performance. If you use a behavioral and cognitive data point, just alone with a structured interview, it's 56% predictive. And so that's one of the fundamental ways that Predictive Index is used, is to compare a candidate behaviorally and how they're driven to the role and ensure that there's strong alignment between them. So if you are really saying, hey, my gut is all I need to hire well, then, and if you are incorporating a team into that and each person is just following their gut, you can expect a 6% predictability of hiring well in that context. And by just adding in this measure, whether it's Predictive Index or another, right, you can improve by 50% predictability by seeing how does that candidate align, right? How do they align to the need for the role to either have someone that's driving or someone that's more accommodating, right? And so on and so forth. So in designing teams, Dan, what's important and what is often not considered is how are each individual going to take action? How is each individual going to communicate? To what extent does each individual want to get into the weeds or remain kind of at the strategic level? And so in designing a team, you want to think about their skill set, right? And that's what we go to right away. What is their, do we have someone that can, be persuasive in a sales context, right? There's a skill around that. But then we need to see beyond that. Not only do they have the ability to maybe close a sale because, we've seen that before, but is their communication style naturally persuasive? And so do we want to bring in this person that maybe they've have the ability to close a sale, but do they actually want to be doing that 90% of the time, right? So we can actually look at a team, look at the outcomes that we want out of this team, and each of those outcomes is tied to an action, and each of those actions is tied to a behavior. And those behaviors are decoded within the Predictive Index. So we can actually design a team around each action and tie that to each outcome so that we can have a team that functions together, and each individual person is highly engaged in what they're doing because that action actually, sort of satisfies a need. Maybe that need is social interaction. And that's why that person likes to be persuasive and they like to be communicative, because they have a need for social interaction, right? And so then they engage in that action, and then they are able to bring that outcome of sales, for example. To create a high-performing team, you don't just need people that know how to pull the right levers. You need people that are engaged into the purpose of that organization. And so the reason Titus Talent Strategies and our consulting division has invested so heavily in Predictive Index is it operates and functions across all verticals. And there's actually over 500 validity studies over the past decade in each of these verticals to show how utilizing the Predictive Index has improved job attendance, tenure, engagement, performance across all of these verticals. And it comes down to the fundamental need for people to be managed in a way that is crafted to them as an individual. So that is the same as a construction worker that's on site swinging hammers to an accountant that's in front of their computer all day long. Each of those individuals has a fundamental desire to be managed in a way that's crafted towards them as a person. And that's Predictive Index arms managers to be able to do that without them relying on intuition of, I think my employee wants to be managed in this way, or I think this is the type of person that we need in this role. It actually breaks it down to a behavioral science and makes that much more scalable across the company and across verticals.
That's helpful. Yeah, it's really helpful. It seems like it's particularly pertinent in such an urgent economic time, such a turbulent economic time, and therefore makes this there's a high level of urgency for all team leaders, all people leaders, all HR managers, directors, to make sure they've got the right people in the right seats. So I know you're doing a Predictive Index demo for some of your clients. So how can people get in contact with you? What do they need to do? I know, potentially some of the people listening even to this video now, they'd like as much help as possible to make sure they've assembled high-performing teams in this particular environment. Some people are struggling, some are not inspired, some are not engaged. They need their people to be at the top of their game, and they need to know how to manage their employees in a way that pushes everyone to the top of their game and have the right business strategy. So, which is what I've loved, everything that you've shared with me. And they need a way to monitor their business results.
Absolutely.
A lot of companies have a mobile or a remote workforce now. So I know if they're really sensing or having a great sense of urgency, and they know that if they don't do the key kind of people work, then they'll fail to reach their goals. So what are you offering, and how can we point people to you? Tell us about the demo.
Yeah, and absolutely. So what I'll do actually with this video on LinkedIn, in the comments, I will put a link that you can send to up to 5 individuals at your company for them to take the behavioral assessment, and we will do a live demo with you, one-on-one, and actually break down each of those 5 profiles, giving you a read back of your own plus 5 others, and look at the team dynamics. As I had mentioned, that would be something that I would love to do. I'll even include the link to my calendar in that same comment, that you could book time, 30 minutes. And again, something that I'd love to do. And we've seen phenomenal results time and time again from even just a 30-minute demo looking at some of these key factors for our teams.
Fantastic. Brian, thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sharing all of that and the multi-part discipline that talent optimization is to help people align business strategy with their people strategy. I know it's been phenomenal to help people have optimal business results. So this has been really practical. Thanks for your time.
Dan, thank you. It's been great.